now we are very honoured to have with us Marcus Witt.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, my privilege.
It's great to have you with us. Now, tell us a little bit about what you do. I believe you're pastoring at Lakewood Church. Tell us about your ministry there.
I'm the lead pastor for the Spanish service. I'm one of the teaching pastors for the English service, and we started the Spanish service 5 years ago. I was the founder of it, and that's one of my main responsibilities at Lakewood.
Where did the getting involved in that side of things come from?
Well, they had invited me to come out and do some ministry a couple of times, and Pastor Joel and I had become kind of friends during that time. So one day he invited us to go out to eat with he and Victoria, and I didn't know this, but he'd been praying for a while about the Lord bringing someone like me to Lakewood. And then so halfway through that evening, at one point he just turns and he looks at me and he says, "Marcos, what do you think about, pastoring a Spanish church?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, right. Everybody wants me to pastor a Spanish church in Houston." And I didn't see myself as a pastor because my ministry is mostly traveling through Latin America, bringing people together, worshiping the Lord. I'm a real bridge builder among leaders and pastors in Latin America. But the Lord just really used Joel to help me see, the promise there was in doing that there at Lakewood. And so we started it 5.5 years ago. We have 7,000 or 8,000 people come out every weekend now. It's been an amazing run. It's been a lot of fun.
That's terrific. Now tell us a little bit about your ministry, Cancion. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, you are,
Cancion?
actually. Grupo Cancion. Okay. Well, Cancion is the ministry that I started 22 years ago. It's a record label. It's a production company. We have an artist roster of about 35 artists. We have an events company that puts together, worship conferences and concerts around Latin America. Then we started schools back in 1994. We have 50 college-level schools all throughout Latin America. We have a leadership training school. Leadership training ministry. We work real close with a gentleman from America named John Maxwell. We're his Latin American partner for leadership development and motivation. And so we stay really, really busy with Cancion.
So what's the greatest need for worship leaders and leaders in Latin America? What would you say?
Leaders in Latin America, one of our greatest challenges is for people to understand the dynamics of servant leadership. Latin America has been a continent that has been plagued by a lot of dictators. And so we have a great need to teach them, servant leadership works and then how those dynamics work. So that's one of my big passions is leadership. In fact, I focus a lot of my attention on the leadership part of my ministry.
Now, we've read in a Billboard article recently about some work you're doing with immigration issues and talking about the whole social justice side of things this week with a lot of our guests. Where does that fit in with you?
Well, I have a real strong feeling about, Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light so shine before men." And it doesn't say before the church, it says before men. I have a very strong passion that a lot of times as Christians, we enclose ourselves in our worlds and we, have a requirement by God to shine before men. So I use my platform as a member of the board of trustees of the Grammys, and my having won Grammys to use that platform to speak up for social injustice causes. And in the United States right now, we have a major issue with the 14 to 18 million Hispanics who are there, with no documents and who live in obscurity with no voice, with no one to speak up for them. So I began to speak up about 1.5 years ago in favor of an immigration reform law to kind of bring some equality or some justice to this situation. And so I get interviewed a lot in secular media for this position.
That's terrific.
I get attacked for it a lot too, as you would anytime someone speaks up for a cause. You get attacked. And a lot of Christians think, oh, no, we shouldn't be dealing with that. Well, why not? Who's going to speak up for the speechless?
Yeah, exactly. Marcus, tell us about your family. You have children?
I do. I have 4. I have a daughter who is 20, and she is married and has given us a beautiful little granddaughter.
Oh,
and I have an 18-year-old son, a 16-year-old son, and a 14-year-old son.
Oh, that's terrific. Are they involved in your ministry?
They're all involved, very much so, in every way.
That's terrific.
And my wife, my beautiful wife, because you can't have kids just by yourself. You have to have a wife.
I've heard this.
My wife, Miriam, of 22 years, just a gorgeous person, beautiful pastor, and my best friend.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, this is your first time here at Hillsong Conference.
My first time at Hillsong, that's
so
right.
We're really looking forward to having you with us and
Thank you.
ministering
I'm
to
really
us.
enjoying being here, listening to everybody else and meeting a bunch of people. It's funny, I just met Leland. We both live in Houston. We'd never met. We had to come to Australia to meet. Isn't that amazing? But that's what Hillsong does, brings people together.
Yeah.
Well, they're coming up soon on the show, so
Yeah.
it'd be great to have them here with us. So
So
It's great
lovely
to be
meet
here.
you.
Thank you.
thanks
very
for being
much.
with us.